Starting Five is a new sports series on Netflix starting October 9th, following 5 stars of the association through their season. LeBron, Jayson Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, and our guest right here on the Rich Eisen Show from the Sacramento Kings, Domantas Sabonis. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes. Oh, great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You bet. When did they first approach you? They follow you around all year long? I know I'm asking 2 questions at once here, but what is that?
It actually happened really quickly. It was probably end of summer last year, and it happened really quickly. We were contacted, and it was something I wanted to jump on it straight away. And yeah, cameras following us all year long, everywhere. You know, felt like you're in a reality TV show.
Is that so?
Yeah.
So they were following you training camp and everything?
Yeah, they got granted access, training camp, behind the scenes, at home, locker room. Every team had a different philosophy. You know, the Kings were very welcoming and letting them use whatever they wanted.
Right, and the other teams, not so much?
I'm not sure, however, but for us, it went like smooth. Yeah,
full access.
Full access. It was great for the Sacramento Kings. You know, everyone's gonna get to see more of this organization.
What are we gonna see? What do you got? You got a little preview of what we might be seeing behind the scenes here?
Yeah, you know, it's just basically a lot of stuff that goes on behind in a locker room where you don't really see daily, I would say, and practices, coaches, how they act. In certain scenarios, so I think it's going to be really interesting for the fan.
Certainly for lighting the beam up, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So are we seeing you stroll around Sacramento too, and just your life and everything else?
Yeah, you see everything day to day. You know, I'm at home with my wife, my kids. What I do on off days, you know, they really want to get us basically what we do during off days and how we take care of our body and all this kind of stuff.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
How long have you been married?
3 years ago.
By the way, I'm the same way too. You got to make sure you get it right. That's the problem with those questions. You got to make sure you get it right. It's not that you've forgotten.
It was a quick hitter. I was like, I got to answer.
How old are your kids?
2.5 and 1 and 3 months.
Okay. Wow. Boys, girls, what do you have?
First one's a boy, second one's a girl.
Okay. Nice. Very good. Yeah. And so, do we see Grandpa Arvydas?
Yes, you do see Grandpa Arvydas. Okay. You see the kids. They're a big part of the show.
Okay, very good. And you know that they're not your kids.
I know.
He's not your Vedas. He's not your Vedas.
There are kids. Yeah. That's from my Sports Center era. Yeah. You know that, right?
I do know that. That's awesome. That's cool.
The Craig Kilborn line, man. He's not your Vedas. He's our Vedas. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So did you grow up and watch all of that stuff? Or
I grew up.
Predates you?
No, I remember I was super young, but I remember going to the arena and like going to the practice facility, watching him. There's some core memories that kind of stick in my head that I remember from.
Like,
from
what's your first memory? What's your first basketball memory?
I remember being like at the practice facility. He would take us all the time, and I remember me and my older brothers would go always with my dad to practice.
Is this Portland?
Yeah, Portland. Yeah.
So you grew up in Oregon?
Yeah, I was born in Portland, grew up in Portland for like 3-4 years, and then once he retired, we moved back to Europe.
You moved back to Europe? Yeah. Is that why I'm picking up a little bit of an accent from you, right?
Yes, probably.
So where did you grow up?
My parents are Lithuanian, but I grew up in Spain, Malaga. They decided to raise us there, and yeah, I basically spent there my whole life until I was 18, until I went to college in Gonzaga University.
So you have like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old Domas memory, right?
Yes, a couple memories
of walking around the Portland Trailblazer facility and locker room.
Yeah, the locker room, a couple memories from our house, but memories like in interacting with the players like Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen, Bonzi Wells, all that. You know, they called them the Jailblazers back then.
Yeah,
I don't know how to say it.
Growing up around the Jailblazers, huh?
Yeah, and I remember we would go into the practice facility and like try every single Gatorade, and like the players would get mad. Who's out here taking sips of every single color Gatorade? And it's just 3 little blonde kids running around.
The Jailblazers. That's it. That's why Dad couldn't move you to Spain fast enough, huh? Pretty much. So that's your childhood memory.
Yeah.
Were you dreaming always of following in your dad's footsteps?
Yes, always since a kid. You know, wanted to play basketball. That's all I cared about. And that's been the only sport I grew up playing.
No kidding, right? Okay. So, and now what is it like for you to be living out your childhood dream like that?
It's amazing. You know, having my dad too to go back and forth, and he's been through it all, so I can ask him these questions, so it helps a lot. And then, yeah, you see someone that you look up to so much going through it, and now I can follow in those footsteps. It's really cool.
How much does your dad? So when do you reach out to your dad? Like, give me a for instance. Somebody.
Yeah, like he likes to watch most of all of our games. You know,
so he's game passing it.
Yeah, he stays up late. And
Where does he live?
Back home in Lithuania. So there's a time difference. You know,
I would say so. So
yeah,
my gosh, what is it about? What 9, 10 hours?
9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah.
So you're finishing up a game, you know, in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And technically, he's having breakfast. Watching.
Basically, yeah. He wakes up early.
Okay.
He likes to go to bed and then wake up, even though that's sometimes tricky then to finally get up.
Right.
But yeah, he tries to watch as many as he can.
So then what do you reach out to him about, like, specifically?
Oh, after the game, he'll obviously have some comments, you know, or like good
Just
win
about, like
or
what?
whatever.
Like what?
The game, like
Posting somebody up, or
posting somebody up, anything that happened, or like, can you believe this, or like, how did you guys end up losing this game?
Right.
You know, all this kind of stuff.
Draymond Green stomping you on your stomach.
Stuff like that.
Okay, sure. I'm just plucking things out of the air. But seriously, do you lean on him for moments like that?
Yeah, you know, it's always nice, you know, to get his point of view. You know,
Right.
he sees the game in a whole different way, so it's good to go and ask, because I might not be even looking at that direction, what he's looking at, you know.
Right. Starting 5 is a new sports show on Netflix. You got to check it out. New series starting October 9th exclusively on Netflix. Follows Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, LeBron, and Jayson Tatum, and Domantas Sabonis for an entire season. Let's jump into it. Are you and Draymond cool at all?
I think so. I think we're cool.
You are?
Yeah, there's no bad beef. It's not what the media thinks. You know, we're just two competitors, and we're fighting for a playoff win.
Okay, so there's so like not Christmas card list type thing, or you're just fine, or
Probably not. No, we're cool. I mean, we both respect each other, and on the court, you know, I mean, we're just trying to win.
Do you think he respects you?
I think so.
Okay. All right. And so when you see the Warriors, there's no issue. I'm fine dropping the subject matter.
No, there's no issue. You know, I mean, we're both players in the same position that want to win, and I don't know, both kind of aggressive, loud players out there.
Are you loud?
I think so.
What do you mean?
People say. I mean, I don't know. Like we're vocal. We show a lot of emotion.
You always seem to have a black eye.
Yeah.
Like seriously. Like I'm like when you walked in, I'm like, is this really the Sabonis that's supposed to be here? Because your face looks unbruised. You always do seem to have.
Yeah, for the last
something.
couple of years in the postseason, it's been a thing where I'm going into the postseason or first game of the postseason and have a black eye.
So it's not just me then.
That's not just you. It happened last year at the last game we played Portland, and it was one of those games where, you know, we're just trying to get over with. Season's over, and
look at that.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Now, is this the moment you received the black eye, or
this already happened? Actually, no one knew until after the game, and then after I took a shower, it started to swell up and get some color.
Well, then now you say it's time for the playoffs.
Exactly.
Right? You now can't go into the playoffs without a black eye.
I hope that tradition ends.
So then, what do you say to? Would your father agree? Do you have this conversation with your dad that his era was tougher to play in than yours?
He always says it's different. It's different basketball.
How so?
He says you can't compare. Like, everyone is great in their own era because everyone's adapting to that type of basketball. So,
right.
I mean, if you had those players back then and put them here, they're going to adapt to these new rules and everything. They're just that smart. They're just whatever it may be, you know. So same thing back in the day. If we went back there, people are going to adjust to that style of physical or whatever it may be.
Well, I mean, there he is dealing with Shaq right there.
Yeah.
You know, and so he's playing in an era fresh off of the Bad Boys, right? I mean, he was playing in the era of the Bad Boys, where anything kind of go. Like you could see some moments from the late '80s, early '90s, and it's just like that would never go down in the NBA right now. Yeah. And that's the way it extrapolates out to. Well, it's just a bunch of guys shooting threes, and then there's folks like you, few and far between. Yeah. You know what I mean? You would push back on that, or how would you push back on that notion?
I don't know. I kind of think like my dad, like.
Which is what?
Like what, in terms of how we play the game? Yeah. I think it's just a trend in the NBA, and that's how it goes. And now, like, the three is the biggest thing, and teams are focusing on that. And it's worked for a lot of teams, and it's the coaches. It's what the coaches say.
So who's the guy that you get up for playing against the most in your league?
I like playing against the best bigs in the league. Like whoever they are, the top 5. I don't know. It's always Jokic, Embiid, Anthony Davis, Bam, like Karl Anthony. There's a lot of big bigs, and you as a competitor, you always want to play against the best, and that kind of gets you going.
Okay, so when you wake up that day, there's a little bit more pep in your step that day?
For sure. Even the night before, like, okay, if I'm not ready, he's going to go at me. So, you know, you have a responsibility for your team to show up and get the win. So you kind of think different.
Tell me your favorite De'Aaron Fox story.
De'Aaron Fox story. Oh
my. Where either you connect in a certain way or I don't know who he is. You know what I mean? I love watching him play. I love watching the two of you play. I love when the two of you are cooking, you know? So I'm wondering if there's a good story that you can just tell me.
Great guy, great player, super confident. What I love about him is his confidence. We all know he's won just a clutch player of the year, and he's just the confidence he instills in us. Like, we know if we're struggling in the fourth quarter, he's got this. I'm always like, you got this. It's your time to shine. He's like, don't worry, I got you. And like, we can always count on him. And as a team, that's awesome. Okay. And now we got DeMar too, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So what do you say about the upcoming season in the Western Conference and how the champs came from the conference 2 years ago, and obviously, you had a deeper playoff run a couple years ago, and Minnesota came close this year. The Mavs ascended to the conference championship. How do you view the Western Conference coming into this season?
Very talented, very tough. I mean, we all saw last year how everyone basically almost had the same record from 3 down, and all the standings changed. It's going to be very, very tough. I think it all comes down to what team is going to be more healthy throughout the season, and that's just going to decide it, to be honest. And
so the fans there, what do you give me a good sense of what is it like to play as a Sacramento King?
Sacramento, they're probably the best fans in the league. I love them. They've been welcoming with open arms since I got traded, and every game sold out. Like, doesn't matter who you play. We can play a back-to-back against a bad team. We just beat them by 30. The next day, it's sold out again. So, I mean, in the NBA, it's sometimes tough to find that everywhere you go on the road for the crowd to be like that, and they just bring it every day. They're crazy. They're loud. They're going at it. They got your back. So it definitely lifts you up to play better. Okay.
And is there a moment in this series that you're connecting with any of these 4 guys, or is it just the 5 of you individually in this series?
We're definitely more separate. We're focusing on everyone's personal journey, but games we played against each other, there's obviously some more connection going on.
Okay. And do you remember the first time have you rejected LeBron? Has he tried to bring something in your area and you sent it in a different direction?
Like on the court?
Yeah.
In what term? Like,
I mean, he's driving and you reject him.
Oh, like a block?
Yeah.
I think I've had maybe a block or 2 on LeBron, nothing crazy or amazing.
Well, it couldn't be crazy, otherwise you wouldn't be part of this series right now. Otherwise you wouldn't be allowed in. Okay. Well, I'm just excited to meet you, man. And I know you've had an interesting journey to the NBA, and to see what you're becoming is just it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I feel old. I'll be honest, because I used to do highlights with Craig Kilborn. It wasn't, Arvydas. It's Arvydas. Yeah. And now I'm meeting the son of Arvydas right now. So tell your dad hi next time you FaceTime with him in Lithuania.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And congratulations on everything going on with you.
Thank you.
You got it. And throughout the season, look for more of my calls. We'll have you zoom in and
for sure.
We'll check in on you now that we get to know each other.
Exactly.
Last time this happened with Karl Anthony Towns, I started playing golf with him, and he started, sending videos in TJ's direction.
It was so
because of the Dallas Cowboys. He's an Eagles fan. Yeah. Do you watch? Are you a fan of any NFL team?
No, I'm trying to. I'm international, so it's hard. I'm more of a football, soccer.
What's your soccer team?
Real Madrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must have grown up going to those matches, right?
No, I actually wasn't born yet. My brothers were.
Okay.
He played in Madrid before he got to Portland.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a family.
All right. So you're an NFL free agent?
Basically, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's there's no fantasy league. There's no Sacramento Kings fantasy football league. Right
Yeah,
now?
there is. Fox is really into it.
He is.
Keegan Murray. Wow, that's the #1 topic.
So, but you're not in it?
I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even know what to do.
But you're in the league, though.
It's too late now, though.
I know. They've been talking about it already. Like the group chat's going on.
Here's what's happening from now on. Now that you know us, let us
Help you.
help you win the Sacramento Kings Fantasy Football League.
We're consultants.
We're consultants. You reach out to us, please. It's up to you whether you want to let them know we're doing it or not. I guess we're now.
Now
the cat's out of the bag.
We can cut this part out.
No. We're gonna do this.
I didn't hear.
So, is De'Aaron Fox the commissioner of this league?
I think he is. Yeah, for sure.
He's in charge of it.
Yeah,
that's how much he's into
he
it.
won last year. I think I think he's back to back.
Oh, wow.
He's like the Chiefs. He's like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Well, and what's the? Is there a prize for first place or something?
Probably
like that?
something.
Okay,
But I didn't get into that.
But we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we got to do.
I just don't know anything about it.
That's great. That's the best thing. That's the thing that infuriates fantasy football people the most is when you're just like,
You win.
I don't
You
know.
win.
I don't know. I just thought, let me just take this guy, and it just turns out to score 4 touchdowns. What do I know? It infuriates them.
God.
You will be the scourge of your locker room, but in
Perfect.
the
I can't
best
wait.
way possible, though. We're in.
This is great. I'm
You're
so
in.
happy.
Wouldn't this be great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a baby deer, we can just like nurse up and
Yes.
set out to the fridge.
This
in a
is
while.
great.
Yeah.
You know? And what do we call the team? Like our.
Well, we got a whole year to think
there's
about
a lot
it.
of time.
Okay.
You
There's a
know,
lot
we
of
got
time.
till next August.
Please take us up
Yes.
on this. Will
Yeah.
you please do that
Yes,
for
I
next
will.
year? Oh my!
If I win, I know Fox will be so mad. Keegan will be mad. That'll be great.
See, you're getting it. You say you don't know, but you're getting it. You're getting it. Starting 5 available starting October 9th exclusively on Netflix. What a series this is going to be with Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Jayson Tatum, and our new friend, the future champion of the Sacramento Kings Fantasy Football League, Domantas Sabonis, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.